What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Final Whistle. I'm Dan Ureb, my guy over here, Nathan Osler, and got a good episode in store for you guys today. We're going to be going through Bama Georgia preview. We're going to talk some wide receiver issue for Pittsburgh, and then we're going to get into another tier list. So
can't wait to read those comments.
We'll figure that out. But last episode we battled with YouTube, but we're back. And we're probably not gonna be doing clips for a little bit.
Yeah, it's sad to say.
YouTube was not very nice to us, so
they gave us the ban hammer.
Yeah,
They're threatening us.
Better not give us the ban hammer. I'll have to take it up. But yeah, all right. Let's get into. We're just gonna cover one game of the week for college football. This is a good game. It's the game of the year so far.
Yeah,
game of the year so far.
This is easily game of the year. Number 2, Georgia. You're not used to saying number 2, Georgia, for a couple weeks now. And then number 4, Alabama. Alabama won their last time around in the SEC championship. Practically knocked Georgia out of the playoffs. So that in that universe, we got Bama versus Michigan in the first round. And another universe, it could have been Georgia versus Michigan in the championship. Who knows? But Georgia, Bama, round 2 in Tuscaloosa, by the way. This is going to be a very intriguing one. And ESPN has the favorite. They are giving 65.8% chance to win to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Carson Beck, Jalen Milroe, great quarterback matchup. I like this one. Georgia just had a close scare a couple weeks ago to Kentucky, and now they have a really tough matchup here against Bama. Both teams 3-0. Georgia has the one conference win. Bama, this is their first conference game. So what a start for Bama's SEC schedule to have the Bulldogs come to town. It seems like a while we've had a Georgia-Bama matchup in the regular season. Definitely.
Yeah.
I love it.
We got the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs coming into Titletown. Both teams 3-0. Georgia shouldn't be 3-0. They should have lost to Kentucky. They played horrible. If Kentucky had a competent quarterback, Kentucky wins that ball game just because I think Georgia just played awful. Carson Beck, not impressed with him so far. He was supposed to be a Heisman frontrunner. He's not anymore. I think that game against Kentucky really plummeted his stock. But I look at Alabama, a team like Alabama who has kind of just dominated everyone they've played. They had a close scare against USF in the beginning first half, and then they just they whopped them 42-16. They just beat Wisconsin 42-10. They've put up at least 42 points in every single game they've played so far this season. Georgia's only done that once this year, and they've played against what is this? What school is this? This is an FCS school. The Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles.
Well, they also killed Clemson at the time, too.
34-30. That's not 40 points. That's not a 30 ball.
Still a good win.
Yeah, I guess. But the Tide have been better this year, and that's just the facts. Jalen Miller has been a dog this year. He's been incredible. I've loved what I've seen. They've got a 17-year-old in Ryan Williams, which is sad because I'm 21 years old and this guy's already accomplished more in his life than I probably ever will. And he's 17 years old, which is kind of, I don't like that. Do you like that? Have you bought, let me ask you this. Have you had to buy a jersey yet of someone that's younger than you? Has that happened yet?
I'm not sure.
Who would it be?
Oh, actually, no, Boncaro from the Orlando Magic, probably. I have his jersey.
How old's Paulo? Let's see.
I don't know.
What are you, 22?
I'm 22. I don't know. I think he just got out of college. He just finished his second year.
Paulo Boncaro is 21. So yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
A lot of people had LaMelo Ball jerseys.
I had I got a Grady Dick jersey for the first time. That hit me. I was like, oh my God, I'm wearing someone's jersey that is younger than me. Where did my life go wrong? But
look at us.
Yeah, that is always a sad realization. This kid's 17 years old and he's a dog. Ryan Williams, animal. Love to see it. True freshman, 6 feet tall, 175 pounds, and he's been popping off so far. He's got 285 yards on the season, 10 catches for 4 touchdowns, and he averages near 30 yards per damn catch. The dude's a stud. I'm a Ryan Williams guy, and we'll get into that. But Jalen Miller has been awesome this year. He's in the Heisman front, not a Heisman front runner, but he's in contention for the Heisman. Milroe so far this year, 265 yards, 3 touchdowns. Those are his rushing yards, by the way. Those are not passing yards. Jalen Milroe, where's this cat's passing yards at? I can't find it. I don't know why I looked up Jalen Miller.
590 this year.
So that's Jam Miller. That is not Jalen Miller. I clicked on the wrong. I saw JM, clicked on him. But yeah, Jalen Miller has been a straight stud this year. Love to see him pop off because I like him. I like Milrow mania, some would call it. But Milrow fan. What's your take on Miller? You think he's a true Heisman contender?
Yeah, easily. He's a Heisman contender. He's on a good team. He has the weapons to get that Heisman award right now. You brought up he already has a 590 yards. He has perfect 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. So he has a 76.2 QBR. That's 22nd in college football, which I expect that will probably go up easily, especially with this SEC play starting. And like you said, like Bama's different. Bama does it differently. You've told that to me many times.
It's just different, man. I'll tell you what.
And you brought up Jam Miller's stats. I like him at the running back position. He's averaging 9.1 a carry, by the way.
Great.
29 carries, 265 yards, 3 touchdowns.
If you average 9.1 carries, that's a damn near a first down every time you run the ball, which is easily. You don't lose games when your running back is getting is averaging almost a first down every time he touches the damn ball. And then you look at and you throw to Ryan Williams, who's averaging 30 yards per catch. Who the hell's beating the Tide? No one. No one's.
Interesting note about Miller. I'm looking at his home split so far at home. 20 carries, 194 yards. He's averaging 9.7 a carry at home with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So the road stats brought him down a little bit. Comparing him to the Georgia back, they got Trevor Etienne.
He's not been good this year. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Trevor Etienne has not been. He just hasn't been good this year. He only has 157 yards through 4 weeks now in college football. He averages 4.2 rush per yards. And I don't know. He averages like 79 rush yards per game, which is honestly isn't bad. But for a Georgia running back, which is a team that just mass produces running backs like a factory, I would like to see a little bit more out of Trevor Etienne, who's obviously Travis Etienne's little bro. But he had a bad game against Georgia. I mean, against Kentucky. He just did not have a solid game. Where's his stats here? He had 79 yards on 19 carries against Kentucky. 19 carries. I want to see more than 79 yards. If you're a Georgia running back, you got that offensive line from Georgia. And I mean, again, this place mass produces running backs. I want to see more than 79 yards against Kentucky. He had 78 against Tennessee Tech.
Yeah, like this is a Georgia team that needs some production out of the running back position, especially with a guy like Trevor Etienne going up against a Jam Miller. This is a great running back matchup, in my opinion. I might give the edge here to Jam Miller this week.
For sure.
It's in Tuscaloosa. Sure. That crowd is going to be rocking entire game. This is a matchup that's usually the SEC championship, and it's getting played in week 1. Well, I would say the first game of Bama's SEC schedule. And Georgia has a chance to go 2-0 in the SEC if they can upset Bama, which it probably wouldn't be noted as an upset because they're the higher ranked team, but I would call it an upset because you're going on the road at a top 4 team. If Georgia can win.
Georgia definitely is. I don't think Georgia's an upset. What's the line? Do we know the betting line here? Let me check.
Let's see here.
Who's favored?
They have Bama as the favorite on ESPN.
Wow, by 2? I thought there was a 2-point spread.
-2.5.
Bama, yeah, I like that. I definitely think Bama's going to win this game, but yeah. 2-point Bama. I like that. If you're gonna lay some coin down this Saturday, give me the Tide.
Now here's a question: do you think it's gonna be a high scoring matchup or a battle?
Yeah, this is always a great game. These two teams it's like a newfound rivalry against these two teams just because they've been so dominant. And they always kind of butt heads. But yeah, this is gonna be a high scoring game. It's gonna be a fun game to watch. Two kind of explosive offenses when they want to be. Bama has looked just straight up unstoppable offensively, but Georgia showed a little bit of a weak spot against Kentucky, and this is going to be a prove it week for Georgia. They've got to show out this week and prove why they're the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah,
they shouldn't be. They should not be the number 2 team in the country. Do you agree with that? No shot.
They're still the Georgia Bulldogs. That's why they're up there still. But I agree they should be below Texas right now. Texas has had the way better strength schedule. They did beat Michigan in the Big House, which I found very impressive. I'll find it even more impressive. They destroyed Michigan in the Big House, in the Sea of Yellow. So I think that's more impressive of a win. I know Georgia did beat a top 15, I think at the time ranked Clemson team and Kentucky this year. That's keeping them afloat. But it's like
Who's ranked 3? Who's ranked number 3?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. I think Ohio State should be ranked above Georgia for sure.
That's fair. The thing about Ohio State that I don't like about, I need to look up their schedule.
Georgia should be 3 or 4.
Let me pull up Ohio State this.
I think Bama's been better than Georgia.
Does Ohio State even play this week? I think they do. I'm trying to find them.
Big 10.
Let's see. Ohio State. This is what holds me back with Ohio State being ranked so high. Who have they played?
Akron, Western Michigan, and Marshall. You're right. They've blown all those teams out of the water. They've looked good. They've looked good. You're right.
Georgia's played the tougher schedule. Georgia has played the way tougher schedule, so that's why they're still ranked ahead. But I was watching the game.
Kentucky.
I was watching the game against Marshall. It was at the time, I think it was 14-7 Ohio State, or it was a tied game still. But Marshall looked like they were going to stay with it, maybe give Ohio State some issues. There was the Marshall punt. Ohio State muffed the punt. Marshall recovered, and the refs called it back for a stupid call. And I was like, oh, here we go with the Ohio State. It's like people hating on the Chiefs. That's how I am with Ohio State.
I hate Ohio State.
Game. I think a lot of people don't like Ohio State. It's everyone everyone around Ohio is usually Ohio State haters, usually. Sure. But when I look at their schedule, that's the thing about Big Ten schedules that make me curious why they do this. And I'll commend Michigan for this. They at least played some solid teams this year, and that's why they're still ranked.
Great win.
They went against USC. They beat USC in a crazy comeback. They did lose to Texas, but they're playing actual competition. Sure. In my opinion, Ohio State's playing Akron, Western Michigan, and Marshall.
They didn't just lose; they got smacked.
2 MAC teams, and Akron's one of the worst teams in all the MAC. I'll say that. So that's my little spiel there. But do we want to give some winners really quick?
Let's just give our final prediction for Bama Georgia, and then let's get into our Steelers thing here. I'll let you go first here. Bama Georgia. Give me your winner, and give me a player to watch out for.
So I'll give you a winner, a possible score, and a player to watch out for. It's going to be interesting. I think a player to watch out for, I might put on the losing side just to maybe have a good game.
Okay.
I want to see more. My player to watch out for is Trevor Etienne. I think he needs to have a good game this week. I think this is a game, Danny, that he can have a statement against Alabama. But I think Bama will win this game. I think it's going to be a 23-22 type of game. One of those, a slugfest. I think the defense is going to show early in this game, but then the offenses are going to start to click. I think it might take a little while for Carson Beck and Jalen Milroe to get going against the counterparts defense or whatever. So I'm going to go 23-22 Alabama in a very close matchup.
All right, my prediction. I think you know who I'm going with, and I think a lot of people know
who Georgia.
I'm with it. No, my score prediction. I'm going 49-28.
Ooh.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Roll, Tide, roll. Give me Alabama to beat down on the Georgia Bulldogs. I love them. Bama is a different team this year. Give me the Tide. Give me the Tide by 70 points. I'm all in. I'm bought in. Shout out Nev from Bama. We're rolling with the Tide. I'm rolling with the Tide. I can't not roll with the Tide. They've owned Georgia the last few times they played. The last time they lost them was in the playoffs a few years ago. But Alabama has for sure just been all over Georgia. I mean, last year was a great upset. They beat Georgia. Kalen DeBoer has been great so far. And this isn't Nick Saban, Kirby Smart anymore. So we got to get a little new rivalry.
New era.
And Kalen DeBoer versus Kirby Smart here. So I'm going with Bama. I don't think that's a shocker. I love saying roll Tide. I don't get pissed about nothing but the Tide.
So we're going 2-0 Georgia right now.
Yeah.
So you have more of a Georgia to lose. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
So you're going more of a destruction blowout. I'm going a really closer game. So before we move on to
I don't think it's going to be 49 to what did I say 28 is a blowout, but I think it's just going to be Bama in the driver's seat the whole game and scoring on almost every drive kind of, and Georgia's just scoring here and there, and it's going to be a game, but Bama's going to be in the driver's seat the whole time. I just don't see how anyone stops this Alabama offense with Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams, who's 17, who's going to be torching your favorite cornerback. Like it's this Bama team's different. They're 4. Yeah. I was honestly shocked they were even going to be this good this year. But that's our Bama Georgia prediction. And
I like it.
You have any more final thoughts on this game? Because I don't.
I mean, not really. I was going to say before we move on to the PowerPoint I put together, do we want to do a quick little prediction for tonight's matchup, Cowboys at Giants, and then maybe a game upset of the week, maybe to watch out for in the NFL?
Yeah, let's do a quick. Let's get into it. Cowboys Giants. This game is played tonight, 8:15 in. This is in New Jersey. I was going to say New York. It's in New Jersey. This is in New Jersey. Don't get it twisted. Dak Prescott, Giants, both 1-2. I'd say a must-win game, more so for the Cowboys than it is for the Giants, because the Giants are just going to be the Giants aren't going to have a winning season at all. So this game means a lot more for Dallas than it does for the Giants, because the Giants' expectations are the floor. The Giants' expectations are 4 wins. So that's that. But this is a must-win game for Dallas, but this is a trap game for them. This is a rivalry that is, when you play a rival, it doesn't matter. Like Steelers-Ravens, it doesn't matter if the Steelers are 16-0 and the Ravens are 0-16 or vice versa. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game.
Yep.
But this is a little bit of a rivalry here. So Dak Prescott, who was great last game, he's thrown for 851 yards so far this year, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Daniel Jones, who has 600 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I don't know. I think this is a clear Dallas win in my book.
You'd hope.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it has to be, right? I mean, if Dallas loses this game, they're favored by 5 points here. I'm comfortable laying 5 for Dallas. I'm comfortable. I think that Dallas needs to win this game, and they're going to win it in good fashion. Now, when I look at a player to watch out for in this game, I'm not even going to pick. I'm not even going to pick anyone on Dallas. I think Malik Neighbors. This is the dude had he had 21 targets last game. Just ridiculous. So he's going to have to pop off if the Giants want any shot at this game. And I think Daniel Jones knows that he kind of has a crutch now. So he's going to be looking for his guy, Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, so you're taking the Cowboys?
I'm taking the Cowboys here.
So this is my take about this game. Like you said, can easily be a trap game for the Dallas Cowboys. And their defense has looked horrendous these last 2 games at home, including that game against the Packers in the wild card. So I'll say the last 3 home games, they've looked absolutely horrendous. They are a way better road team, but that team needs to wake up. This is a must-win for Dallas. You cannot start 1-3. And I heard people saying this on socials and stuff, and I completely agree with it. If Dallas finds a way to blow this game, something in Jerry Jones' head might start to click or whatever, and Mike McCarthy's seat might be getting warm. You cannot be Mike McCarthy leading this Dallas Cowboys team to a 1-3 start. I think his seat is starting to get warm, especially if they lose this game. If it's not already warm after these 2 terrible home games, Saints, and then it was Ravens. Even though they almost came back, but it was awful. You can't do that at home when you're supposed to be the Dallas Cowboys. You're supposed to be a threat to win the NFC East. You're supposed to be a threat in the playoffs. Every year they aren't a threat in the playoffs because they always usually lose in the first round. But still, I think if they lose this game, I think Jerry Jones' head starts to click for once, and he actually makes a possibly good decision and maybe starts to heat up Mike McCarthy's seat a little bit, and Mike McCarthy might start to be on that hot seat. But yeah, I am as well going to take the Dallas Cowboys with that in consideration. I think the Cowboys are going to wake up, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I need to see more, especially I haven't seen a lot out of Micah Parsons this year. It's kind of been shocking. Not a lot of highlights out of him. I want to see more out of him. I think he'll be able to get past that Giants O-line pretty swiftly, I would say. Put some pressure on Daniel Jones, who honestly, Daniel Jones hasn't looked awful these last couple games besides game 1. He's finally using Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is making him look okay. He's not awful now. He doesn't look awful. He looks
Malik Neighbors
okay.
Great. He has more yards than CeeDee Lamb, more touchdowns than CeeDee Lamb.
I like your take on
catches than CeeDee Lamb.
I really like your take on Malik Neighbors. I think the star of the game, though, I'm looking at CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb has a really good game against the Giants secondary. So CeeDee Lamb is your star of the game for me. I do like your Malik Neighbors pick. I think he's the star of the game for the Giants. If they can get him going, who knows? But at the same time, this is a Cowboys win. I would hope so. But say they do not pull this off, I think Mike McCarthy's seat's starting to get warm a little bit.
It's been warm.
Yeah, I think it's going to get warmer than what it's been. But moving on, do we want to talk about? Do you have an upset pick of the week? What you're looking at?
I gotta dial in now for my upset pick of the week.
Yeah, you picked Panthers last week and they did it.
Let me look at the slate here. I'll let you go first while I cook here.
So I'm looking at the schedule coming up. Let's see here. There's a matchup I really like this week. I wouldn't call it an upset pick of the week watch, but Bills-Ravens is going to be a great football game.
Very good.
And the Ravens just had a really impressive win in Dallas besides that second half they had. I don't know if you would classify the Ravens to upset the Bills because the Bills are 3-0. I guess it could classify since the Ravens are 1-2, but I don't want to use that as that's kind of not really a great pick in my opinion. You know what? Record-wise, I'm going to go Cardinals over Commanders. I might take the easy option. I like that pick. I like how Kyler Murray's been playing this year despite the 1-2 record. I'm high on the Cardinals. We both talked about it. I like their wild card hopes a little bit. So I'll go Cardinals over Commanders this week. Oh, boy. I see it in your face. I'm looking
at this slate. I'm looking at this slate, right? And I'm trying to see a game, and I see some upsets that I like. And I made the splash pick last week. And I think I got to make the same goddamn splash pick this week. Give me Carolina to go in to Cincinnati and beat the hell out of Joe Burrow. I'm going with the Panthers. Again, the offense looked great. And the Bengals, they're desperate for a win, and they're not getting one. 0-4 Bengals. They're losing to the Panthers. Panthers are going to go into the jungle. Andy Dalton revenge game?
Oh, it's in Carolina, first of all.
Okay. It's
a
in
road
Carolina.
game.
Okay. Yeah. So they got to come to Andy Dalton's house, his new house, his crib. They're not going to walk in the trap and take over the trap. No, Andy Dalton is going to lay down the hammer on his old team. I'm going with the Carolina Panthers to beat the Bengals. 0-4 Bengals. You
know what happens if that happens? I think Zach Taylor's seat is really warm. I think the coaching carousel might start early if that take happens right there. But I listened to this. I was listening to the radio on my way home today, and they said a good point. They had a guy who works for FanDuel on there, I think it was. And he said a lot of bettors' better line is probably to take the Carolina Panthers just because if he basically phrased it like this. Look at the vibes right now on both teams. The Panthers are coming off of a win with a new QB, Andy Dalton, and they thrived against the Raiders last week. The Bengals, 0-3, 2 home losses to the Patriots and Commanders, and they have 2 upset wide receivers in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, who did play good last week, don't get me wrong. Their defense has not looked that good. Which team has the higher vibes right now, do you think?
Vibes wise, I mean, I know that the Panthers just got a big win. I think the vibes are still rock bottom on both of these teams. There's no vibe
of course.
in Carolina. I promise you, there's no vibe in Carolina. They still know their ass.
But if you're looking at the Bengals right now, you cannot tell me the vibes are like
terrible
high right now. They are terrible. They are subpar.
Joe Burrow,
it is awful in Ohio right now, football-wise.
Joe Burrow decided to dye his hair like a lacrosse player in playoffs.
He's 0-3 right now.
He's 0-3. Okay. Sorry, pal. Yeah. That's my upset pick of the week.
And I'll say that I brought up coaching a little bit before we move on. I want to bring up another game really quick. If the Jaguars lose this week, I'm not shocked that Doug Peterson's gone. I'm not shocked. They would. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. Jaguars would be 0-4 if they lose. They're playing the Texans this week. The Jaguars have looked awful so far. They're a team a lot of people had hopes for this year to maybe be a wild card candidate, and they are not playing good football right now. I think a coaching change could happen soon. So that's my little take on the Jaguars. I do think they're going to lose, though, to the Texans. I think the Texans do bounce back against the Jaguars. So you got Panthers over Bengals in Carolina getting that upset, and I have Cardinals hosting the Commanders again. I took the cheap one. But yeah.
Bryce said Chargers over Chiefs. Listen, I
I like that one.
But is Herbert playing? If Herbert's playing, I like that because
Let's see if he's
the rushing
playing.
offense has been elite. I don't think Herbert's
He's
play.
questionable right now. Herbert.
If
They did
Herbert
just lose.
plays, I like that.
The Chiefs just lost Pacheco too.
Exactly.
They're not going to have their top running back.
Chargers rushing offense has been just great, and the Chiefs rushing defense is not the best as of right now. But yeah, I don't think that's a crazy pick. All right, you want to get into your PowerPoint presentation here?
Oh yeah, I prepared a PowerPoint for all of our viewers. So today's episode, we're going along the theme of wide receivers. Danny and I said we're talking before the show about two things we want to do. We want to do a wide receiver tier list because our QB tier list is getting some hate comments. We want to just
a lot. We got a lot of hate for this.
Yeah, okay. Sorry we ranked your favorite quarterback lower than what you think. First of all, we'll get to that later. But then I thought of this idea. There's a certain team that clearly needs wide receiver help, and this is not going to be biased because we are Steelers fans. But this is something a lot of NFL fans are addressing: is the Steelers wide receiver room. That is, quarterback room's fine. Wide receiver room is led by George Pickens and Van Jefferson. That cannot be your wide receiver too. The Steelers are a 3-0 ball team, football club, you could say. If they are going, trade deadlines going to be coming up in a couple weeks. For example, there's still some free agents out there. If they're going to want to at least have a chance, and I mean a chance to survive the end of the season gauntlet that they have, all their divisional games, Chiefs, Eagles, they have the Cowboys defense coming up. They need to do something. So, Danny, if you are still there, please switch to PowerPoint. I see you went out a little bit.
Hold on.
Okay, so this is a very important PowerPoint, aka this took me like 10 minutes. So I basically took into account, while we wait for Danny, the Steelers situation. I took into account teams that have losing records that might be sellers, teams that have some wide receivers that might not want to be there anymore. And I even took into account some teams that might wake up, but still might make a move. And there's also one free agent in here. So there's more examples in this. You can go to the next slide. So this is the Steelers need a wide receiver by us. So here we go.
Figure this out here. I screwed something up. Where is it? Okay. I got it. Hold on.
Bang. There we go. Okay, so if you don't know the Pittsburgh Steelers, here are their current wide receiver options. And sorry if some of the photo quality seems a little off. It's Google Images. I did not take a lot of time into this. George Pickens is your WR1 easily. And looking at the depth chart, wide receiver 2, Van Jefferson. I would call him wide receiver 3 just because I believe in him. Roman Wilson, but he's still a rookie and is yet to play. That's a big question mark. Calvin Austin, we just saw get a nice touchdown. He's really fast, and he's a guy that has a lot of potential. We just haven't seen a lot of him being used. So Calvin Austin, I would put as, you could be your wide receiver 3. It kind of is right now. Scotty Miller is in there. He got some targets as well. And then Ben Skowronek, who I don't think we'll ever see. He's on the IR. So those are your current wide receiver room options. Next slide, please.
Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not looked at this slide yet, and I can't even see the previous slide. So I don't know who you picked. Okay.
And I want to hear your take about each wide receiver I say.
But I want to preface something. There's one person on this list that I do not want to see.
I think I know who it is.
And if I see him on this list, just because I'm not going through this again, if I see Devontae Adams on this list, I'm not going through this again where I gotta go. Everyone's saying we're getting Devontae Adams. I'm not getting Devontae Adams.
Well, you'll find out. So right. Next slide, please. Okay, so I explained a little bit how I'm doing this. Possible trade targets primarily, so mainly going to be trades. Now, I didn't put the trade packages because I do not know how those will work. It would probably be a lot of draft picks for some of these guys. Probably some bench O-linemen, maybe a linebacker, edge rusher, who knows. And then I put some free agents are included. There's only one. It's probably the least of my worries right now getting a free agent, but I could see the Steelers doing it. And then I put no trade partners have current losing record or a projected losing record. So move on. You're going to love this first slide, just so you know. There he is. Devontae Adams of the Las Vegas Raiders. I do not believe this will not happen. but it fits. It's a fit, if you ask me. I have it as a trade. So a little bit about Devontae.
God damn it.
He's the current wide receiver 1 of the Las Vegas Raiders. In my opinion, he's not your WR2. You're slotting him ahead of George Pickens, and that makes her a very, and I mean very solid 1-2 punch. And it would take the pressure. This would take all of the pressure off of George Pickens to be that WR1.
I want
Take
George
the
Pickens
double
to be
team
wide
off
receiver
of him.
one. I don't want George to be wide receiver 2. No, bad.
You take all the pressure off of George Pickens, he's not going to get double teamed as much. You can still use him. You have 2 potential WR1s right here. 2 on one team.
I want George to be the star. I don't want George to be wide receiver 2.
He's still going to be the star. They're both going to be the star. I put season stats so far, 18 receptions, 209 yards, and a touchdown through 3 games. It's going to get only better. Very solid career thus far. Great veteran to have on a young team and this wide receiver group. I would rather have Devontae Adams and George Pickens as my 1-2 punch than George Pickens and Van Jefferson.
Obviously, but we're going to have to break the bank on Tay. And I think George Pickens can be the wide receiver 1.
Well, they were going to break the bank on Brandon Ayuk.
I guess, but I think Brandon Ayuk as well been a wide receiver 2 behind George Pickens eventually.
Oh, he would have.
Stud. I don't think we need to go for a guy better than George Pickens. I think that would only upset George. This is why I hated this option. I can't believe this is the first one as well. This is crazy.
Well, that's the one that's been popular with Steelers fans.
Should we go to
as of now? Let's go to number 2. Slide number 2. Christian Kirk of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Crazy.
I have this as a trade. He would be probably a cheaper trade easily. I think the Jaguars and Steelers have a good trade history as well. They have a little bit. I think it was a defenseman a couple years ago, if you remember. What was his name? Miles Jack. These two teams have trade history. They work well together in trades. So he's in a current mix of wide receivers in the Jacksonville Jaguars organization. And the Jaguars look like they're on a downward spiral. They have Brian Thomas Jr., very young. They just brought in Gabe Davis. Christian Kirk, I think, is their current WR2. I would put him behind Brian Thomas right now.
Okay.
Brian Thomas, I do like better for their future. Christian Kirk just screams Pittsburgh Steeler to me. I think he fits well behind George Pickens. He would be the WR2, unlike a Devontae Adams in that situation. So far this season, 10 receptions, 108 yards, no touchdowns. He hasn't gotten to the end zone yet. Only 3 games. But in his career, he's amassed 4,905 yards and 28 touchdowns. And like I said, another solid veteran to take pressure off of Pickens and all the double teams he's going to get. A team will easily put guys on Christian Kirk over Van Jefferson right now. I don't think they trust Van Jefferson to get deep downfield. Christian Kirk can do that. I like Christian Kirk also in the slot option, slot or outside, easily. So I think Christian Kirk fits well on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he could, and I think he'd be a cheaper trade option than some of these guys, especially Devontae Adams, even though that would be the splash of the deadline if that were to happen. But that's my number 2. What's your thoughts on this one, Christian Kirk?
Yeah, I think that this is only possible if Jacksonville decides to, abandon ship. If this is an 0-5, 0-6 team, and they're ready to just empty their ship here, I think that this is a possible circumstance. If Pittsburgh's looking for a wide receiver 2 at the deadline, again, this is possible if Jacksonville is going to be sellers. But as of right now, I don't think Jacksonville is willing to dump one of their core guys.
Okay, next slide, please. Number 3. Gotta forget the order I put. Cortland Sutton of the Broncos. Forgot I put him here. So he's their current WR1, and the Broncos are kind of in the same situation with the Steelers. They do not have a great wide receiver room at all. Their WR2 is Josh Reynolds, and he's currently questionable right now. So this might not happen, especially in the aspect they have to put him in the IR possibly down the line, because they have no options behind Cortland Sutton and a Reynolds. There's a completely giant drop-off between the two and their talents. Easily. Josh Reynolds was okay in Detroit, but Cortland Sutton's clearly the guy in Denver. So this was a guy that the Steelers were linked to all offseason. You and I know that well during the whole Brandon Ayuk saga. I think he's a very solid veteran for the entire locker room, like the previous options. So far this year, 12 receptions, 132 yards, and no touchdowns. But Look at the quarterback play he has. I think if they have a better QB, he's probably close to 200 yards by now. So
Mhm.
Cortland Sutton is my number 3 option. Let's hear what you got. What do you think?
Again, I don't love this. I think that this is another guy who would rival George Pickens as a wide receiver 1 for Pittsburgh. Again, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a slot guy who's going to get the job done again, like a Brandon Ayuk would have been nice, or a slot guy is really what I'm looking for here. Cortland Sutton strikes me more of as like a downfield deep ball guy, and having 2 of those on the team just kind of clashes we've seen in the NFL over the years. So I wouldn't love this. I think the best one we've seen is Christian Kirk, who's a really good slot option.
So here's how
again, if they do dump the team, then sure.
So here's what I understand what you're saying. I would like an extra, like Christian Kirk, I love in the slot. But Cortland Sutton, I think, would be great for Pickens to be with right now. I think he would be very solid. He has a good history right now. I also would love 2 deep threats. And like the theme of this is going to be is taking pressure off of George Pickens, who's your current WR1 and is getting all the pressure on the defensive side of the ball. Double teams almost every week. So if you take the double team off of them, guess whose numbers are going to go up? Your guy, George Pickens.
True.
So you get a guy like Cortland Sutton in here who would be, I would think, cheaper than the Devontae Adams situation, but who knows what the Broncos would ask. But yeah, Cortland Sutton, number 3. I almost forget who I put number 4 here coming up. Oh, this is my last one. This was the worst option, I would say. Emergency option. A free agent signing for very cheap. Hunter Renfrow, he's still sitting there. He's had some solid years with the Raiders. He's still there. You probably get him for less than 10 mil for the rest of the year. I would hope so. So last season was not a good year. 25 receptions, 255, no touchdowns. I think he had some injury issues. But career-wise, he's been a very solid option behind Devontae Adams, who was there at the same time. 269 yards, 2,000, almost 2,900 yards receiving and 17 touchdowns. I put this as a very solid guy to slot behind Pickens and would be an upgrade over Van Jefferson. You could also use a Hunter Renfrow in the slot, but he also can be thrown to very deep. We've seen it against the Steelers before. But he's going to take a little bit of pressure off of George Pickens. Not all the pressure. I don't think teams are phased by Hunter Renfrow, but easily. But I put this as his QB options he's had. He's had Derek Carr Raiders edition from 2019 to 2022. Jarrett Stidham, I don't even know how you pronounce it anymore. 2022 he played. Aiden O'Connell in 2023. Jimmy G in 2023. And Brian Hoyer in 2023. So he did not have the greatest QBs to throw to him. So I put you can probably get him on a 1-year deal on the current market right now, because out of all the free agent wide receivers, he's the best one left. There were other guys there that they could have picked up. They just didn't do it. So yeah, those are a couple guys I put. I mean, if I had to rank them, I really like the Christian Kirk option. I think he would be I think Christian Kirk fits the Steelers mold. Yeah. I think he does. I think he's a cheaper option. I think you can get him for maybe. You saw a McCaffrey guy. It was like they didn't even get a 1st-round pick for Christian McCaffrey. This is Christian Kirk. Maybe a 3rd-round pick. I think. Maybe a 2nd.
I think I don't
Steelers have luck.
I'll propose this. And
do you have any guys I left off?
This could be crazy. This is a very big stretch. Tank Dell's not getting any usage in Houston. Tank Dell's not getting used properly in Houston. Pittsburgh.
Okay. I'm listening.
Let's go after Tank Dell. We saw his potential as a wide receiver 2 last season. Now he's a wide receiver 3 behind Diggs and Nico Collins, and he hasn't done anything special. I think his asking was amazing, but it would be a big price because he's so young.
Yes, and his asking price is. I think that drives the Steelers away. Yep. Personally, on this list, like if I had to say it, if I rank them realistic to not realistic, I want to put Devontae Adams as not realistic. 0. But honestly, I think the Steelers are in the work of like the phase. They would rather have the trade over a free agent signing because they want to make a splash and prove that they can be a real team. So if I'm ranking realistic to unrealistic, Christian Kirk 1, Cortland Sutton 2. I'll put Adams in 3 just because of the aspect. I think they want to trade more so than a free agent guy. And Hunter Renfrow out of these 4, I would take last. I wouldn't be mad about any of them, even Hunter Renfrow, because it is an upgrade over what they have now. Scotty Miller stepped up for them last week. Big catch first down, but you can't have Scotty Miller in there every day. You can't be throwing to Cordero Patterson the entire game.
Yep.
So the Steelers clearly need a wide receiver help. So yeah, wide receiver, there it is. There is the PowerPoint. It took like 10 minutes, so that was fun. Fun little PowerPoint.
Let's get into a tier list here, and
here we go.
Let's do this here. First off, I want to say this: all you people who saw our quarterback tier list and decided to try and hurt our feelings, I could care less. I will go on camera. I will say whatever the hell I want. Okay, and if you want to comment that I'm wrong, if you want to comment that I'm dumb, go for it. I appreciate your view. I appreciate your comment. And you can block me, you can unsubscribe, you can dislike. I don't give a piss. Okay, I'm gonna rank my wide receivers however the hell I want to rank my wide receivers. Okay, so if you think that I'm gonna dumb this down and be a little bit more lenient and try and go with the flow here, like because we got so much slack for our quarterback tier list, ain't no chance in hell.
Oh, we're different.
Ain't no chance in hell.
We're different.
Okay. So here we go. Get ready, because
I got something to say.
Go for it.
And before people comment saying, "Oh, you put my favorite team's wide receiver too low," it's subjectable. It's opinionated.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're stressed out over us ranking your favorite quarterback not top 5. So,
all right,
there it is.
There's a lot of wide receivers here, so we should rip this fast. Do we want to go in order, or do we want to pick guys out of the hat, kind of?
Just pick them out of a hat. Just go random.
Right. Let's start with our top 5.
Oh,
should we?
Just go random for now. I need to think.
Random?
Actually, no. Put Justin Jefferson up there.
For sure.
He's top 5.
JJ's top 5.
Easily. I think we can both agree.
Let's just establish our top 5 right now.
Yeah, screw it.
CD top 5.
Yes, I agree.
Tyreek top 5.
Yep, I agree. Easy 3 right there.
I'm on our top 5. All right, now here's where it gets tricky. There's 2 guys, right? There is a Jamar Chase, right? You can put top 5. And then there's AJ Brown. You can put top 5.
There's other guys you can put top 5. Let me scroll down there. There's other guys you could argue Cooper Kupp in some worlds.
DK?
You could argue a lot of guys in some worlds.
DK could be in there. That's it. I think that's literally it. Devontae Adams, you could argue, is top 5.
People would have argued Stephon Diggs on the Bills.
I don't think Devontae Adams is crazy to say it's top 5.
Nope, Diggs not crazy at all
anymore. All right, who's 5? Who's 5?
So are we we're looking at AJ Brown, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, and Stephon Diggs, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So
I'll say this.
Whoever's not top 5 is elite.
Easily. Yes.
All right. Nicholas said it perfect. Hi, Nicholas. Welcome back. He said Chase or AJ.
Chase or AJ. Okay, you know what? You're right. I'll be the guy. I'll bite the bullet. I know I said Jamar Chase wasn't top 5. I know I said that, but I don't give a piss what you think. Jamar Chase is not top 5. AJ Brown 5. Debate a wall. Jamar Chase has been bad this year. He's been bad. His last game, 118 yards. Good for you, Jamar Chase. Here's a sticker. AJ Brown's better than you this year. Jamar Chase is elite. He's 6. He's fringe 5. But I'm AJ Brown. Damn it. Okay.
I'll agree with AJ Brown. I was gonna argue maybe Cooper Kupp when healthy. Because we've seen a lot we've seen so much out of Cooper Kupp. He has a triple crown.
Yeah, that's true. But that has to be when he's the wide receiver 1. Matthew Stafford just picks a guy and throws it to him.
Fair.
Do you think if Puka Nacua was on any other team last year, he would have those stats? Absolutely no chance in hell. No shot.
Yeah, it just depends.
Puka Nacua is force-fed. When Cooper Kupp had his triple crown season, he was force-fed, okay? Cooper Kupp doesn't do anything that different from guy like Amon-Ra, Tyreek, CD, JJ, or AJ Brown. or Jamar Chase. He's not better skilled than any of them. I don't think he has a better skill set than Devontae Adams. He's not better skilled than DK. I think him and Diggs are pretty close. But yeah, let's fill out elite.
Move Cooper Kupp to elite, DK Metcalf to elite. Put those all up there.
I'm gonna kind of rank that here. Throw these guys in there.
So that's the order you're putting them in.
I think that's not a crazy order to put them in.
Let me see it again. Devontae, yeah, it's fair. I like it. I know I argued Cooper Kupp top 5, but I get it.
I don't think this is crazy to say. I don't think it's crazy to put Diggs in B anymore. I don't think Diggs is an elite receiver anymore. I don't. I really don't.
I think he's gonna.
Ridiculous? Is that ridiculous?
I don't think it's ridiculous in the aspect. I think he's gonna miss Josh Allen at the end of the day. Because I think CJ Stroud likes throwing to Nico Collins way more than Stephon Diggs.
I think
personally,
I could be comfortable even putting Nico Collins in elite, and I'm gonna do it. Damn it!
Not yet.
You don't think? All right, we'll put.
Is this his first full year with the Texans? Did he play?
No. Yeah, he played.
I'm trying to
year.
think. What were his stats last year?
Incredible. Let's pull it up here.
Can you pull him up very quick?
Yep.
Let me see here. I'm trying to think. Nico Collins can be elite. I think I want to see another full year out of him.
I think it's not crazy to call him elite at all. There's another guy I want to put elite. Last year, splits. Let me pull up the splits. 2023, he had 1,270 yards, so 97 yards.
Okay.
I don't think it's crazy to say
killing it now.
Nico Collins is the wide receiver 1 on that team. He is.
Is this his sophomore year?
Yeah, I believe so. No, I think it's his junior. What is it? Yeah, it's his junior year. No, it's his senior year. Damn, he's been in the league since 2021.
What's his stats yards by year, you think? What they have that?
His rookie year, 33 catches on 60 targets, 14 games played, 446 yards.
Expectable.
2022, 10 games played, 37 catches, 66 targets, 481 yards. Then CJ Stroud gets drafted, 1,297 yards.
Okay. What's he at right now? He's probably on a pace to beat that.
He is already, I think, beat that. He has 338 yards, so literally 2 more games he's gonna crush that. Dude, he's better than Diggs.
Let's put it elite for now, but I want to revisit this at the end.
He's an elite receiver. Adonai Mitchell, I think that I would like to put him in future star. We haven't seen anything out of Adonai.
So are we putting future stars as we need to see more type of thing, or is it going to be like they're not B, they're not C, they're just guys we believe in type of thing? Or I
think it's more of a we've seen enough out of this guy, but it's not fair to put him in elite yet, and he's not. I don't want to call him B because it's they're not B yet because.
But didn't Adonai Mitchell just get drafted?
Yeah, but he's also I've kind of seen enough out of Adonai Mitchell to know he's not really gonna do anything. I mean, he's only has what. On the year, he has 32 yards and 2 catches on the year, and he's played in every game.
Well, that's rookie wide receiver. You would expect it.
He had 0 targets in his first game, and last year he had 0. Or last game, he had 1 target, didn't catch it. He had 4 targets, 1 catch, 5 targets, 1 catch. Dude, he is not. He's not a future star at all. I mean, there was a lot of promise coming out of Texas. He was such a speed threat, but I don't think Adonai Mitchell. I think I could put him D if I really wanted to.
We'll put him in D. Need to see more kind of type of thing.
Yeah,
you haven't seen enough. He can be good, but need to see more.
Amari Cooper.
I like. I'll put him up in B. I don't think he's elite.
I could make an argument for C.
I'm gonna throw him in B. He's their wide receiver 1. He puts up some good numbers.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a C.
Brandon Cooks is a solid C. This guy is he's very mid. He's consistent. He's going to get the job done. He's a CT receiver, a guy that I would not hate to see on the Steelers.
Here we go. make a tier Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk. Yeah.
All right.
He's the biggest thief in football history for the next couple of years. Brandon Ayuk's yet to been showing up. Niners need him to show up and play. They need, well, I mean, he's been playing, but they need him to actually produce.
Yeah.
If he was being the Brandon Ayuk we know, honestly, he's a high C, low B.
He's low B. He was low B.
Yeah. Brandon Ayuk is not.
So if this is how we'll know if people actually watch the full video. If you're watching this, Brandon Ayuk is a low B receiver, but we're putting him in I hate you because that guy literally ruined my summer. So
yeah,
Brandon
we're
Ayuk.
Steelers fans. If you haven't like watched these before, so like we try not to show bias, but like Brandon Ayuk played with our emotions, and we're kind of happy we didn't get him.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Future star.
Future star.
You know I'm high on him. I know a lot of people are high on him.
Calvin Ridley, you asked me 2 years ago, B. I think this guy is a C tier receiver.
Look at his quarterback he has.
Still, I think he's had decent quarterback options. I mean, last year he had Trevor Lawrence, who was solid last year. Now he has Will Levis. Good wide receivers still prevail with a bad quarterback. Look at Devontae Adams.
Now, here's a question. We did it for quarterbacks. Are we taking into account their entire career as well? I'm presuming.
Half and half. Like, okay, like obviously, like if you put Antonio Brown on this list now, I'm not going to put him in elite. You know what I mean? If you put like a guy like that, like if you give me who's a guy like that, I don't really have any of those. Like I don't know, like if you put like an old head up here, no, I'm not gonna put him
like D-Hop.
Yeah, like D-Hop. D-Hop was elite at his time. Now he's a B tier receiver. Chris Godwin is having a monster year this year. I don't think I listen. I think we could call Chris Godwin elite. I'd be fine with that, but I think that there's another guy on this team that I think is an elite wide receiver, and that is Mike Evans.
Mike Evans. I agree.
I want to put Mike Evans lead. He's better than Nico Collins. Hey, Dal, I'll put him above Cooper Kupp. Mike Evans is a stud every year. He's the most consistent player in the NFL. Every single year, he's going to give you at least 1,000 yards. Stud.
Can I say this about the Bucs wide receiver room very quick?
Go for it.
Sorry to cut you off. I like it. I think it's one of the best duos in the league.
Easily.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Sure. I think both of them can end up in elite by the end of the year. I do like the Mike Evans take because Mike Evans is the most consistent wide receiver option you could ever ask for.
And honestly,
he's the perfect wide receiver you could ever ask for. He's going to show up and do what he needs to do.
Depending on the week, this is interchangeable. Depending on the week, Mike Evans is B and Chris Godwin is elite. Okay. So again, the people that aren't watching the video, listen to that before you start bitching that Chris Evans is in B or not Chris Evans, Chris Godwin is in B. Mike Evans is an elite. Listen to us talk and explain this. But I think overall wise, I have Chris Godwin's career hasn't been as good as Mike Evans. So that is where we're going to take careers into account. And, Mike Evans hasn't fallen off yet, but he's just been so consistent to where he has to be an elite receiver. He has to be.
Yeah. I agree with it. I like those takes.
Chris Olave, I listen. I don't want to put him in B because I think he's better than a B tier receiver.
We put him future star.
I'm fine putting him in future star. I think that is why this category is going to be perfect.
That's where I was going to put him. I was going to put him in future star. He's one of those young wide receivers that's going to be killing it in the league future years. Like we already put Brian Thomas in there, and he's just a rookie compared to like an Adonai Mitchell. And if people are still watching this, and this is a test, Adonai Mitchell, I don't think is going to have as good of a career as Brian Thomas Jr. is going to have. Brian Thomas Jr., in my opinion, is up there for Rookie of the Year. I like how he's been playing. And even though the Jaguars are 0-3, like
I look at this list, I don't see anyone who's an F. You know what I mean?
No,
which is why as well. I think D is going to be the lowest tier. I could remove F, but then the D is the new F. So I think
leave F for now, just in case we.
Yeah. Christian Kirk.
We just talked about him.
C.
I think he's a perfect option to have. He's not going to be bad. I mean, he's average. He's the average wide receiver. He's a great option to have. But I don't think he's B.
Yeah. Christian Watson, future star. Future star could put him in B. Could put him as near elite. This dude, he's very good.
I'm putting him below Chris Olave. I like Olave's potential more than Christian Watson.
Yes.
I know some people that last year would have put Christian Watson in C and D.
Mm-hmm.
I know a couple Packers fans personally that weren't high on Christian Watson.
Yeah.
But Christian Watson woke up at the end of the year. He woke up in the second half. I'll put him up there for now.
Good.
I would argue C just because we've seen him a little bit more, but like that's the thing. Like I don't want to really put him in future star just because we've seen a lot out of him. What's this now? Third year?
Mm-hmm.
But there's another guy I'm going to put in there that's on year 3, and I think you know who I'm talking about.
I don't know about that. Cortland Sutton, B. B or C?
Put him in B. We just talked about him as well. He is their wide receiver one. He's a great option. Yeah.
Curtis Samuel.
That
D.
might be
or
D.
C?
I think D. He hasn't
Yeah.
been performing as good lately, in my opinion, than he has. I think he was
D-Hop.
better with Carolina.
D-Hop's B.
D-Hop's B, I like that.
D-Hop used to be up in here in top 5, and then he was elite, and now he's in B. I think that this is solely just based off of his decision to go to teams that are horrible. I mean, he went from the Texans, which were never good, to the Texans got good with Deshaun Watson, and then he left, and he goes straight to who'd he go? He went to the Cardinals, and then he went to the Titans. And so he's just never been on a good team, which is kind of sad. I would love the best team he was ever on was that team with Deshaun Watson and Deshaun Watson's prime. But D-Hop in his prime was different. I don't think I can ever put him in C.
Nope, you can't.
Deebo Samuel is an elite receiver.
Yeah,
Deebo
I agree.
Samuel's elite, bro. Deebo's elite.
He can run those jet sweeps really well. He can do everything.
Deebo is elite.
He can do everything, honestly. Yep. He is their wide receiver one. He's miles ahead of Brandon Ayuk easily.
Okay. Devontae Smith. This is one of the few guys on this list. I think maybe the only guy on this list who's won a Heisman. I think future. Oh my God, my headset died. I think future star isn't crazy. To put him as a future star isn't crazy, but I feel like we've seen enough out of Devontae Smith now to call him. It wouldn't be fair to put him in future star just because we've seen enough out of him now. So I think he's a B tier receiver.
I'll put him there. I see the argument for future star.
He's been in the league a little bit too long for me to put him in that. Like, I think next year at this time we can't put Olave in future star anymore. We can't.
No. I think you graduate after at least 3 years. I know year 3 guys can stay in future star, but the thing with Devontae Smith, he's had some bad games, but then he also has had some really, really good games. So that's what I'm keeping him out of elite with that because he's not on the level of an AJ Brown who's in our top 5.
Yes,
but Devontae Smith is a very solid wide receiver too for them.
Deontay Johnson.
I'm putting him in C.
I think we could put B.
Don't put B.
Hasn't done anything, and as a Steelers fan, it's
too many drops.
C, yes.
The thing keeping me back there, like we watched him play so much, all the drops, running backwards, it was frustrating. And I think the Panthers, they got to see a good game out of him with Andy Dalton. I was happy for the guy. He showed up to play. He got some good numbers out of it. I think he had 100 yards receiving that game. I haven't seen that much out of Deontay. That is Deontay Johnson. I almost said Devontae Smith again. We didn't get to really see much out of that with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And whenever he got opportunities, he dropped a couple in the end zone. But yeah, you know what? I agree with what Nicholas said. And I was like, I'm not high on Christian Watson as high as you are. Like, I was arguing C.
I think Christian Watson, we haven't seen enough out of Christian Watson, though.
I think we have.
To call it, I think I gotta leave Christian Watson future star.
This is what's gonna get us hate, this Christian Watson pick. I can already see it. I think he's a C, maybe a high D.
No way.
I think he's a C at least.
He's shown flashes of being so good, though.
Yeah, flashes. Not at long periods of time. Like last year, he started out awful.
Okay,
let's revisit it at the end.
Okay, DJ Moore, B or elite.
Thank you, Nicholas. Pull up that comment. He's made of glass. Like. He's a C.
You want to drop him down to C? If you want, I'll give you this. You can use a veto. I'll give you one. Do you want to use that? Is you get an override, and then I'll get an override.
I only get one of these.
You get one. I get one. Okay, we get an override. We've agreed on everything so far. If you want to override,
yeah, I'm using my veto for this one. Christian Watson is a C. I like that. Jaden Reed and Nicholas likes him better too. I like Jaden Reed.
I agree. Jaden Reed is better. My original plan was to put both of them in future star because the Packers got a solid young wide receiver core.
I think Jaden Reed's the bigger future star than Christian Watson.
I agree. I fully agree with you.
I think Watson's a C.
I think Jaden Reed is better than Christian Watson. I was going to get to that. Dontavion Wicks, dude. D.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dontavion Wicks it's his second year in the league. Last year in the league, he was above average. He had like almost 600 yards. This year he hasn't done much. He only has 26 yards on the year. So I just off of what I've seen from the kid this year, nothing too good from Dontavion Wicks. He's played in all 3 games and he only has 3 catches and 9 targets. Now, obviously Jordan Love is hurt, but yeah. He's a D tier receiver. I think you would obviously, as a Packers fan, you would take Curtis Samuel, Adonai Mitchell, any of these guys above Dontavion Wicks, and he's going to be low. He's going to be very low D, possible F. Okay?
I don't know if you saw the comment Nicholas just put. We need a who tier.
Yeah,
that would be Wicks.
Oh no, you know who Wicks is.
Who?
You know who Dontavion Wicks is. Come on.
Well, yeah, Nicholas. But like who?
Yeah, no,
it would be really funny.
Drake
London, I'm putting a future star. Put him out there with Olave.
Nicholas is gonna be happy about this one. He's a Drake London guy. Drake London is kind of proving me wrong this year. I've never been high on him, but this year he's been pretty good so far. And I think that at the end of this year we could see him in elite or a very high B. But as of right now, him and Chris Olave, I think, are really just similar guys. So
I think Drake London's also going to thrive with Kirk Cousins.
Garrett Wilson,
future star.
Oh, elite. Garrett Wilson's elite, bro. Is that crazy?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to move him?
I'll put him at future star, just because I want to see more out of him. But like, I know he has the potential to be elite. But like, I'm not putting him up there yet. I'm not putting Garrett Wilson ahead of Chris Godwin personally. That might be crazy as well. I'm not putting him up there yet. I'll put him in future star, but like I used my veto. I used it.
Do you want to? All right.
Put him next to Put him next to Devontae Smith if we're in between. I think he fits in future star because I think future star has potential to be elite in the end of their career. And future star, I'll say this.
I agree. That's not the tab. It's because you're not B. You're not necessarily B because you're bad. It's because we haven't seen enough for
I want to see more out of him.
And I'm fine with that.
And wait until this next guy, because I don't know if you're gonna like it. I'm putting George Pickens in future star as well. Because here's the thing, I'm looking at the 5 where if you put George Pickens in there right now, just for example, because we're at pick, drag him up, drag George Pickens up to the future star. Those are the 5. Those 5 are going to be a top 5 in some time in their career. I am fine with putting those guys in a top 5. Bro, I am so high on Brian Thomas. I am so high on him.
Drake London and Chris Olave and George Pickens aren't going to be top 5, bro.
Who knows?
I know.
Who knows? Well, okay, apparently you don't know because we had hate comments about our quarterback tier list.
That's a fair argument.
George Pickens, future star.
Future star? I think we've seen enough for the George Pickens.
I want to see him with good quarterback play. I think he's going to thrive this year.
I think we've seen enough to put him in B. We've seen enough to put him in B.
He's also had some issues with his emotions. Like, put me in the keep him next to the future stars.
I think we could put him in B here.
I don't think it's bad. It's not bad to be in the future stars, though. Like future stars, you're
definitely not. But we know George Pickens' potential. We know it.
Yes,
we know it.
So. But like, I want to see him get in the end zone way more. I know he hasn't had great quarterback play. He had Kenny Pickett.
What if we put him behind Devontae Smith? Okay, I'll settle a future star.
I'm fine with putting him in B. Just because of the aspect is we did the same thing with Christian Watson. We've seen a lot out of him. Like we've seen a lot out of George.
Exactly.
We've also seen a lot of Chris Olave and Drake London, and they're already in future.
He's been in the league for 3 years now. He's been in the league for like 3 years now. I get so is some of the other guys future stars, but I think there's a fair argument for both, for future star and B.
I'll put him in. Let's put him in B.
Low B. Okay.
I don't want to load up B too much though. That's the thing. I'm trying to clean it up.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be fine there. Jahan Dotson D.
It's fair.
Sorry. Jamo Williams, future star.
Yep, I like that one.
Dude, Jamo's a stud. Jamo is a straight stud. Roll Tide. Jamo's a stud.
Fine with it.
Jackson Smith and Jigba. Future star.
I might argue. I might argue C.
High C. I can get behind high C.
High C. Put him next to Deontay. I put him in front of Deontay, honestly.
Better. He's the best C we have so far. Jaden Reed's a future star for sure.
Yep. We're high on Jaden Reed here.
For sure. Guy's a stud. Jalen Waddle is I think one of the highest Bs up here. I think he's better than DJ Moore.
I agree with that one.
Honestly, put some of these rankings kind of matter. Sorry. I just wanted to do that.
I do agree with putting Pickens ahead of Cortland Sutton right now.
Yeah. Yes.
Honestly, you could argue Devontae Smith and George Pickens right now ahead of D-Hop. I think a lot of people could argue that one.
Maybe
this one's tough because there's no bad wide receivers. I don't think there's no awful ones.
Yes, no, there's not anyone really that bad on this list.
No one's sticking out to me as like you're bad, you're awful.
There is two futures. There are so many future stars on here, bro. Wow, we have a lot. Puka Nacua is elite. I don't know why I just decided to do that. Puka's elite,
and that's the same thing with Cooper Kupp. They have a great QB.
Yeah,
they have a QB giving the ball. Like you said, your Matthew Stafford could be a top 5 quarterback.
Jordan Addison, I think he's a C-tier receiver, bro. I don't think he's I don't think I can put. I think I'm taking George Pickens over Jordan Addison all day. And I love Jordan Addison. I'm a Pitt guy. I watched him win the Belindakoff. I love Jordan Addison. I don't know. I think he's a high C-tier receiver. I don't think the difference between him and Jackson Smith-Njigba is that big enough to put him in B.
I could see two options: low future star, highest C.
I think we got to go with highest C. We're gonna have so many future stars.
Yeah, you know what? Let's put him at highest C. He's better than Jackson Smith-Njigba and Deontay, in my opinion. So,
Keenan Allen.
This could be messy.
This is where we could get in trouble here.
Keenan Allen is at the end, towards the part of his career where he's now on a Bears team. He was awesome. I loved him with the Chargers. I really did. I think right now he's a B. I don't think he's a C. I have him low B.
Okay, that's fine.
We've seen a lot out of Keenan Allen in his career.
That's fine.
Low B. I'm not putting him in C, honestly, because he's better than all those options in C. I think easily, but low B. I could argue ahead of Cortland Sutton too. But yeah, we'll put him in there.
Future star for sure.
Fair.
Ladd McConkey, I don't think I can put him in future star.
No,
I don't. I think
I like him. He's a cool little story they got going down in the Chargers. I'll put him in C because I don't think he's going to be bad. I think he's a good option for Justin Herbert. I think he's going to be a solid receiver.
I don't see enough out of him. Like, here's the thing: you can be a rookie and not be a future star. Like, look at Adonai Mitchell. We know he's not going to be a future star just based on what he's done so far in his career.
And I hope they win us over. I really do. A guy like Adonai Mitchell, I liked him in college.
I think there's a few guys in here that can just skip out of future star. I think they can skip out of future star and go straight into elite. And I think Malik Neighbors is a guy that fits that category. And I'd love to know what you think about that. But he is without a doubt a future star. He's the best future star.
I thought you were about to put him in elite.
I think we could. I think you can make a conversation for him already being an elite wide receiver, but he's for sure a future star yet, and he's definitely not B. He's definitely not B. He's higher than B right now.
I'm putting him in future star along the aspect that we put Brian Thomas there and we also put Keon Coleman there, but Malik Neighbors is going to be elite. He's the guy for the Giants. He is the guy for the New York Giants. He is their number one receiver that they have been waiting for. Honestly, he's looked like a great pick. He's looking like a rookie of the year front runner. I know I said Brian Thomas, but Malik Neighbors has been putting up monster numbers these last couple of weeks. Yeah, I agree. Malik Neighbors, I think he's the top future star. And we could honestly re-rank those at the end a little bit, which I kind of want to, but yeah. So Malik Neighbors there.
Marquise Brown, not a future star anymore. I'm fine putting him in D, bro.
You know why I agree with that? The injuries.
Yes. Yeah.
The injuries are holding him back. I know people might say C, which I agree. He can be a C receiver, but he needs to be healthy more. Mm-hmm. I'm a big Hollywood Marquise Brown guy. I liked him. Well, I still do like him, but like he's injured all the time. And it's holding him back a little bit. We need to see. We've seen a lot of him. We've seen all those flashes, but like you said, and like I guess like I said, like we agreed, injuries. I think everyone can say the injuries are kind of holding. I mean, if we made it, I think it'd be cool. If we made a tier just injured all the time, because Marquise Brown is a C when not injured. I think he'd be a low B when not injured, but he's injured, so we're putting him in D. Yep, future star. Marv.
What, number 1?
Yep.
Pittman, B.
Yeah, I agree. Middle, low B.
I put him above DJ Moore and all these guys.
Yep. I agree. Completely middle of B. Michael Pittman, great option there in Indianapolis. That's quick.
Mike Williams.
C, that's another guy that's had some injuries.
D.
You put him in D?
D or C?
Do we think he's better than Marquise Brown?
Yeah.
Do we think he's better? Well, I mean, we have Adonai Mitchell in D.
End of D.
End of D. We're putting him behind Wicks. I was gonna say on. If we want to
call me a madman here. Watch this.
Boy.
Watch this.
Oh. Elite.
Rasheed Rice. Rasheed Rice is elite. Look at his stats this year.
I can see it. I think he's gonna have a great year.
I think we would have to be straight like idiots to be able to say that we want Nico Collins an elite and not Rasheed Rice. There's no way we can put Rasheed Rice in this category and not Nico Collins. Nico Collins in this category and not Rasheed Rice. Rasheed Rice has had the best start to the year this far as a wide receiver, easily. Him and Chris Godwin are off to the hottest starts, and we know Mahomes has a weapon that he's elite no matter what. Rasheed Rice is an elite wide receiver as of right now. He's elite. He's elite.
Rasheed elite. I'll agree. I'll agree. I would argue also you could say high B just because we haven't seen it a lot. This is his. I think he's gonna have an amazing year. Don't get me wrong. He's Mahomes' number 1 weapon, so I'll put him in elite. I agree.
Yeah. Remo Dunze,
future star.
No, I don't think he's a future star. I don't think he's
really.
A future star. No, we have not seen anything out of Remo Dunze this year. He hasn't shown any flashes of anything. I think his potential is behind Ladd McConkey.
Don't make me pull up his stats.
Pull it up.
I think he has a 100-yard game, doesn't he?
I don't think.
Rome Odunze. Yeah, he has
156 yards through 3 weeks.
That's good for a rookie wide receiver, in my opinion.
Yes, his last game, he had 112 yards, 6 receptions.
I'm putting him in future star. I'm sorry. I know I already used my veto, but I'm putting a Rome.
Oh, I don't know if I think he's. If you. No, I can't do it. I cannot put Remo Dunze in a category with guys like Keon Coleman and these guys. These guys are studs and future stars. Future star. Okay, future star means you are going to be a star in this league, right? It doesn't just mean you're a rookie. Cool.
No, not at all.
He has potential, but as of right now, he's a C. These guys and future stars are future stars of the league. These guys all have potential to be top 10 receivers. Maybe not Jamison Williams. I think JMO is the only one on this list I think I'm going to put JMO last on the future stars list. All of these guys up here, Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Chris Olave, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Jaden Reed, Keon Coleman, all potential to be top 10, top 15 at some point in their career. But Nevin said he hasn't earned anything yet. He's hardly shown flashes. I don't think we can put Rome in future stars yet. I just don't. I don't think he's earned it. I think he's had one game. That's cool. Calvin Austin. Look
what Nicholas just said. I agree. If we put Keon Coleman up there, you have to put Odunze. I agree with you, Nicholas. I completely agree. We've seen more out of. I think we've seen
my veto.
More.
This is my veto. My veto.
Okay, you're using your veto to save him there. I think. Here's my argument. I think that we've seen more out of Rome than Keon so far. Personally, Keon Coleman's had some pretty rough games. I think it was one of these games he had like 0 catches or like 1 catch in one game. Rome Odunze already has a 100-yard reception game over it. Like he's at 156 yards in 3 games.
Keon Coleman's definitely not C. yet.
Like what has Keon Coleman shown through 3?
So you want to put Keon in C?
I already used my veto. I already did. I used it. I forget who I even used it on.
Give me an argument for why Keon Coleman should be C.
What have we seen out of him so far?
I guess
Not a lot.
I guess, but let's pull up his stats. But I still think he has way more potential than Rome Odunze.
We've seen more out of the first 3 rookies in those 3. I guess more than Rome and Keon Coleman.
Yeah,
we've seen more out of Marv. We've seen more out of Malik Neighbors and even Brian Thomas. We've seen way more out of those guys. I'd agree to put them both in C. I would completely agree. I don't think it's fair we put Roma Dunze in C and Keon Coleman in future star, personally.
All right.
My opinion. Like you said, you used your veto to save him if you want to keep him up there.
Everyone in the chat agreeing. If everyone in the chat agrees, I'll
say this. Before we get the hate comments when we post this, I am the voice of reason of the people.
Yeah.
I am the voice of the reasoning.
I mean, we'll pull up all the stats. Here we go. Right, watch this. For all you people on YouTube.
I don't like Keon Coleman ahead of Roa Dunze right now.
Debate a wall on YouTube, okay? Before you clown us and dislike the video, you can. I got a message for you. DM me. How about I want to say this? Nathan made me delete a comment on this one guy's post. I was responding to our hate comments, and Nathan texted me and he goes, "Dude, you gotta delete that." I didn't think it was that crazy. Do you think it was that crazy?
No, but I thought it was pretty funny to make you delete it.
Can I say what it was?
Yeah, you said he said he's stick to Fortnite.
This guy who commented on our video. I mean, let me see if I can pull the comment. I won't even pull it up. I won't try. But he called us. He said like a clown. Was that the guy that said clown show tier list or something? I click on this guy's profile, right, and he's making Fortnite edits like. And so I respond and I say, stick to Fortnite edits, little bro. I don't think that was that crazy. I mean, let me do my job. Stick to Fortnite edits, little bro. Keep watching. If you're watching this again, stick to Fortnite edits, little bro.
We're putting this on our resume.
Yeah, tanked out.
Let me do my job. See, like, I don't think we can easily move on from the Keon Coleman Rome Dunze thing. We have the chat, like we have all these guys blowing up right now.
Both in C. Fine, deal. I'm done. Hands are washed. I'm clean. They're both in C. I won my thing by putting Rome in C and not in future star. So I'm boom. Done.
Okay.
Let's T. Higgins. B.
He's a B receiver.
I think
he hasn't been doing much this season with the whole contract injury issues, but B.
Yeah.
He's really good when healthy.
Yeah.
He can be elite when healthy. He's one of their best receivers.
Scary Terry is fringe elite.
Yeah, you're not as high on him as I am. I know that.
I'm very high on Terry. But again, we haven't seen enough out of him yet. But he's definitely not a future. He's been in the league too long to be a straight future star. You could have asked me 2 years ago, I'd put him in future star. He's a B tier receiver, and by the end of this year, we could talk about him being elite, maybe. But as of right now, I would not confidently say he's better than Godwin. He's not better than Stephon Diggs, and he's definitely not a future star. I think his future's now. His future.
I'm happy that he has a quarterback now that seems to like the throw to him.
I agree.
I think that's going to surge his rankings. I think Scary Terry could end this season in elite.
Tyler Lockett is mid C. He is again. I'll tell you what. Tyler Lockett is a worse Mike Evans. He is consistently mid. Okay, he is so consistently mid, and he is a fraction above like the hump of mid. He's like on the good side of mid. There's bad side mid, good side mid. He's barely on that good side of mid. He does his job well, and he's always a solid option, but he's not as solid as Mike Evans, to where Mike Evans is so solid elite. Okay,
that's fair.
So
I don't really have any.
See, Xavier.
Can I add one thing about Tyler Lockett really quick?
For it.
I agree with that take. He's had some injury issues, but here's the thing about Tyler Lockett that I think is really funny. It's at least once a year he has like a 40-point or 50-point fantasy football game. It's just random.
Sure.
It's the random Tyler Lockett week, and it's like a mid-season surge. So it's coming. But like he needs to keep, like, DK Metcalf is their guy. A lot of people could probably argue him to be a low B receiver because we've seen it. But like, I think he's middle high C personally.
Mhm.
So I agree with your take right there. I'm fine with keeping him down where he is. But like, I can completely see where people are coming from, maybe a low B type of thing. So yeah.
Xavier Worthy, future star for sure. Again, I think I put him above Jaden Reed and JMO here. Braylon just said if we're talking, let me pull his comment up here. If we're talking right now, Keenan Allen C, yeah, but again, it's only in 3 weeks. Keenan Allen we got to respect him a little bit more than C here, a little bit more.
Great
Just
with the Chargers.
his career a little bit. That's the only thing that's going to add up. But yeah,
Yeah,
we are talking right now. We are talking right now.
We're taking into account right now in a lot of their career, especially these like D Hop, like you said, he'd be elite, but like we still have him in B because his career's been amazing. So
Zay Flowers, last one, future star for sure. I think
I like Zay Flowers.
I think we could even put him in elite possibly, but Zay Flowers is one of the better future star guys in here. Again, I think it'd be disrespectful to put Zay Flowers in C. I agree. I think Zay Flowers is a high B here. But yeah,
I'm high on the sophomore year of Zay Flowers this season.
Same.
I had him in rookie of the year conversations last year when we were doing our predictions a little bit for other stuff. But I'm high on him. I like Zay Flowers. If Lamar can find him in the end zone, I know they've had some miscues. He had the issues in the playoffs last season. Big mishaps that kept them out of a solid playoff run and possible Super Bowl appearance. But other than that, like, I like it. Do we want to re-rank some stuff in certain ones? Like, I want to look at the future stars first of all.
Okay.
Because I think the future stars had the most talk, especially with the Coleman and Adunze thing. Can you zoom in possibly on just the future stars? Make it bigger. Okay, thank you. So, future stars, we got Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Zay Flowers, Chris Olave, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Xavier Worthy, Jaden Reed, Jamison Williams.
Perfect.
Do you think it's perfect in that order?
Perfect. Okay, you want to order it? Let's order it.
Can we put Garrett Wilson ahead of Olave and London possibly? Maybe. I could see the argument. Xavier Worthy, honestly, he had a really good first game, but he's been kind of quiet these next two.
Exactly.
I could see, you know what, like we saw Keon Coleman at least got in the end zone, I think, once. Xavier Worthy's gone a couple times. I could see the argument people will say he's a C receiver just because.
I think Keenan Allen right here, low B is perfect. I think he's the worst out of all these guys in B.
I'm the
top 5.
I can easily see the arguments if people are watching this far of why Xavier Worthy should not be in future star and be a C, just because of where we put Rome and Keon Coleman. I
agree. Zay is absolutely at least B right now, but I think it would honestly even be a little disrespectful to put him in B.
And I'll say this about our future stars category: it's nothing, but it's not disrespectful.
Yes.
Put them. We think these guys are going to be top 5 possibly in their career.
Putting these guys in future stars is not saying they're below B.
No,
it is not. No. It's saying that it's just not. You can't really rank them fully right now. I think Zay Flowers for sure is B. I think Zay Flowers is cusp elite right now, as well as other guys on this list. Like Drake London is better than some of these guys in B. Drake London is better than Cortland Sutton. Drake London is better than T. Higgins. Drake London is better than George Pickens.
We just can't put there's going to be people I wanted to put George Pickens in future stars along those aspects of I think he's going to be really good in his career, but we've seen him do a lot more in his career. He's played 3 years. I know we had Christian Watson in there for 3 years in future stars. We moved him down. I think the talking points, if we get any, might be Tyler Lockett, possibly. I think people are going to want him in B. Keenan Allen, possibly lower than where he is just because he's kind of falling off a little bit. Braylon just said Garrett Wilson should not be in the same talk as Jameson.
He's not. He is not. That's why Jamo's on the bottom. But Jamo's a future star.
They're both going to be future stars.
But
that's the thing. It's not disrespect.
Garrett Wilson is a higher ceiling of futures. That's why Jamo's at the bottom of future star. You can put Jamo in C for sure. Jamo can be C, but Jamo has shown flashes this year of this guy could be very good in the NFL.
But I can also see where people are coming from where they shouldn't be in the same talk. Because a lot of people think Garrett Wilson is going to be elite. or elite now.
I think. Listen, I think JMO is future star potential, but I don't think it'd be crazy to drop him into C. Do we want to drop JMO into high C below? Because I think JMO's not as good as JSN, but better than Tank Dell. You want to drop JMO right here?
That's fair. We got to do some cleaning up with
Yeah.
this, I think. Let's look at C tier. Can we zoom in a little bit? Just briefly. Here we go. C tier. So we already went through the Keon Coleman little debate there, him and Odunze. I want to look at Tank Dell, kind of. He had a really good year last year. He had a great year last year. Yeah. I don't want to put him in B, but I can see the argument people could have for future star. I could see it. Tank Dell showed awesome flashes. I'm not going to put him up there, but I think he's going to be another talking point.
Crazy sneeze right there. Good mute on the mic, though. You
great. I think Tank Dell's going to be a talking point in comment sections if they watch that far or hear us debate it a little bit. Just because he was amazing.
We'll have one person debating and not 50 people telling us to, and
you guys suck. You guys don't know football.
Yeah. All right. This is the final tier list. Final. Are we locking? Can we press the final button? Finalize this.
Let's see. Zoom in our top 5. Sorry, it's kind of blurry on my end.
Good.
Okay, so there's our top 5. Nature made. You don't get a sponsor. Justin Jefferson, like we did this in the first.
This is going to catch the most slack. AJ Brown, not Jamar Chase.
Yeah, that is going to catch the most slack. Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra, AJ Brown. Easy top 5. That's what we think. It's the interchangeable portion is what's going to catch all the slack. AJ Brown, Jamar Chase, like you said.
Yep.
That's what's going to get all the slack from people. And I can see it both ways. I really could. Maybe some people might not agree Stephon Diggs is a B. Some people might think he's elite still.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's fine. I'll finalize it.
I'm signing my name on it.
I forget who I even used my veto on. Do you remember?
Finalized. You use your veto. You use your veto. Putting you use your veto. Someone in future stars. I think you put. Who did you use your veto on?
I forget.
I did not use it though. Someone in future stars.
I used the veto somewhere.
Oh yeah, you used it putting Christian Watson into C.
Oh yeah. I didn't want him to be in future stars.
Fair. Now looking at future stars, Christian Watson is definitely the worst one at it. I like
what Braylon said. Christian Kirk should not be the lowest C as well.
Okay, Brandon Cooks is.
I like Christian Kirk.
Let's what I see here.
Can put Ladd McConkey last. He's still a rookie. I haven't seen much out of him. But at the same time, we haven't seen a lot out of Rome and Keon Coleman.
I think this is fair.
I also agree with what Braylon just said. Deontay should be the lowest in C. He's had some mishaps, especially with his hands. We've seen
Deontay's better than Calvin Ridley right now. I say we finalize this. Final.
I'll finalize it. Hit the button.
It's been finalized. Wide receiver tier list. I think this is better. It's going to cause less controversy than our quarterback tier list. So again, comment, tell us if we're wrong. I enjoyed reading all of our hate comments. I like that. I honestly enjoy it. But comment, like, subscribe if you we're gonna chop this up and do another video probably, but it was a good episode. Talked a little bit of Bama, went over some Steelers talk, and then got into a tier list. Our longest episode ever, almost hour and a half.
Here. Oh, I think we went longer before.
I don't know. I don't think we have.
We didn't even cover all the football games. We only covered Bama Georgia. My Steelers PowerPoint of why they need a wide receiver, which I don't think one of my slides was on there.
D-Hop.
Yeah, D-Hop. I had D-Hop. I had DeAndre Hopkins on that list. Oh. I think he might have been the slide after Hunter Renfrow.
I checked. There was nothing after Renfrow.
There was nothing. Oh, I don't know what happened to it then. But I did have D-Hop on there if people go back to that. I might clip that, actually. Okay. I might leave that as a clip because that's topic a lot of people want to see. But like, I think you gave our upset picks of the week for people just joining us at the end here.
The Panthers over the
Yeah,
Bengals.
you picked Panthers again. You're riding the Andy Dalton train. I went the easy one. I picked the Cardinals over Commanders, record wise, and then I also said look out for the Jaguars. Maybe a coaching change coming up. They're in a lot of hot water right now. But yeah, any other things we want to discuss?
Nope.
Top of your head?
Nada.
Okay, well, that was fun.
Great episode. Hour 30 minutes, longest episode yet. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about us.
Let's do it.
Follow us on TikTok and everything. And we'll see you guys later.
Yep. Adios, everyone.